Even better. Bro, that smells bare nice. What the fuck?
Thank you, bro.
Gonna make me try and move to you or something, bro. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to the Mixed Opinions podcast. I am your host, MixedByJocelin, and to my right, my friend and co-host,
Proton, bad side.
What is going on? And today we have a very, very special episode. We've got a brilliant guest, but before that, I just want to give a shout out to Audio Movers, and they've patterned you guys a 3-month subscription to their Listen To plugin. All you have to do is click the link below and use code Mixed Opinions at checkout, and you get yourself a free month. Let's go. Thank you so much to those guys. That's Audio Movers. But today, our guest is the one and only GAURAV. He is a crazy guy, top marketing don, Pro Tools king.
Come on.
Amongst many, many other things that we're going to get into today. How you doing, bro?
What an intro, man. That was sick. Good to know. No, all good, man. Thank you for having me on, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Bro, thank you for coming on.
Part of the journey, so it's been sick, man.
100%, man.
Dope.
Well, we first linked up together face-to-face in Nam.
Nam, innit? Yeah.
Which was a crazy weekend.
I'm jealous. Still.
I mean, just trying to get...
jealous.
It was sick. It was probably... Was that your first time at Nam?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so that was
not
my third,
definitely
bro.
not my last.
Nah,
First
bro,
time,
it's getting
huh?
better and better. Like,
Joker.
it's definitely getting better and better, though. Like,
Yeah.
from every year, I mean, after the pandemic, it's been 2 Nams, bro, and it's just got, like, I can see it. It's just getting better and better and
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
Man.
Well, everything's changing in the industry anyway. So
Proper, bro.
I think that has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, our industry is becoming more sort of like commercialized,
accessible.
in a way.
Yeah.
And like engineers are becoming like not famous. It's not
Yeah.
Cooler.
Maybe not the right. Yeah,
You're always
cooler,
cool
yeah.
to like the people it mattered to, but like I guess the general public is understanding more of what we
Yeah,
do.
and where
100%.
obviously, as you said, it's accessible. Everyone can like link up and you can make music in your bedroom. You know, it's becoming people like Jason Joshua, Ali's of the world, all that stuff. They're becoming like rock stars in their own
Yeah.
sort of idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, this is one of the things that I want to speak to you about because
Yeah.
you got the brain for it. You know what I mean? But before we get really in, I was hoping you would bless all of our viewers who don't know who you are.
Okay.
Just a little bio about you and how you got into the industry.
All right, cool, man. Do I look straight that way?
Just chat to us,
You
bro.
can just chat wherever. Yeah.
Cool, man. So my name's GAURAV. Social media, GAURAV H Music. Started off with making music in my bedroom, as everyone did, bro. I remember, like, started off, my dad put a little, like a shelf on my wall. I had 2 little Behringer speakers. Like, started off, had no idea what I was doing, bro, with a little Windows PC. And started
Love
off from
that.
there. Yeah, at uni, man. Music technology, Kingston University.
Kingston.
Oh, sick.
Shout
Kingston.
out Kingston.
Are you at
Shout-
Kingston as
yeah.
well?
Oh, yeah. Well, we're like South, so...
Oh, is
yeah,
it?
it's just
Yeah.
it's the local one. Most of
Bro,
my
it's
friends
sick.
went there.
It was good, man, but, I mean...
I did a talk at Kingston, actually.
Really?
Yeah, they got me in to speak about...
Coomber Studios, innit?
Yeah, they
Like,
got me in to talk about synthesis and stuff like that.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, this was years ago, though.
Oh,
wow.
We went car shorting, and then you got... And our music tech course ended, and then Kingston University bought out all of our stuff.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, because I was trying to get my hands on a mixing desk that they had at Car Shorten,
Oh,
and then they sold it
sick.
to Kingston.
Was that Mackie?
Yeah,
Yes.
the 32. But for in my own way, I now own that mixing desk.
Is
the
it?
mixing
The
desk?
Oh, sick.
sentimental
Yeah, I've got it in
desk.
my studio.
Ooh, that's sick, bro. Full circle, man.
But please, sorry, carry
That's
on.
the, yeah, so
Um,
Kingston.
So Kingston, bro, yeah, then the music tech, and then as I was coming out, I was a bit confused and like, okay, well, I want to get into music production, but I
Yeah.
had a bit of a business mindset of like, no, like, I need to make money. Then I went into sales at Avid.
Yeah.
Like inside sales,
Was that your
processing
first,
orders,
like,
my first gig, yeah.
proper
that
job?
was
Okay, cool.
About 6 years ago. Gone off into kind of like inside sales, basically, which is basically like account management kind of side of things. Just processing orders, man. Really admin stuff for video side of the business. Because we have like media
the
composer.
video, yeah.
So-
What's the software? The video
Media
edits?
Composer.
Media
Yeah,
composer,
yeah.
and that's
So-
big amongst like filmmakers.
Exactly.
And stuff, right?
Yeah. So a lot of I think most of like Hollywood has been done on there. A lot of series you see.
Yeah.
It's just got insane like cloud management.
Am I right in thinking that with media composer, just like Avid has with like the sound stuff, where you have like your actual physical devices, you have like I guess media desks, like video desks and stuff, or video.
I think there is that
equipment.
hardware side of the business. Yeah, there
hardware,
is.
yeah.
But I was so out of touch. I remember like processing orders for it. Bro, it was so new to me. And, like, ancient.
No, of course.
But it was like I was there for a year and I wanted to just get my foot stuck in the door. Then I just started mingling with the audio guys because I was like, this is interesting, man. And then just managed to get like a kind of like solutions job, which basically is a Pro Tools guy for music creation, because music creation started to come back a little bit.
Yeah.
So I used to go out and demo to people just pre-pandemic, go to like NAMM. So I went to NAMM, went to all the trade shows in the UK, Europe and stuff. I was just traveling like mad, showing Pro Tools, show how to like make music in there, IMS, so Ibiza, International Music Summit. So just going to stuff like that and just basically showing the product.
Oh, sick.
And obviously it was always difficult because you had insane competitors that were killing it at that time, so it was good. But what you could see was the transition of how Pro Tools is now entering that market of music creation. We never really left it, but it was like we're creating plugins. We're starting the whole.
I feel like for a while, a lot of, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of the Pro Tools stuff was powered by AIR. So Air Music with like the plugin, like creation plugins, like soft synths, keyboards, pianos, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I got into those through. Is it Plugin Boutique? If you lot don't know about Plugin Boutique, they basically like
it's the place
like
to
a
get your
directory
plugins.
for most plugins, isn't it? Like almost like a Yellow Pages for plugins. For those that
and
remember.
they always do like mad discounts.
So I picked them up. I think I went to grab like Expand or something, which is almost like a Nexus.
I was just about to say Expand, bro.
Yeah, that was. It's still powerful, bro.
It's
super
sick.
powerful.
Like layering your sounds. And
multi-timbral type thing.
I don't know about this.
You don't know about Expand because you left the production industry a long time ago, bro. I'm joking. Actually, stream MixedByJocelin's music.
I make beats, man.
Yeah, he does.
That's not as much as I used to.
It's fine. He's got some
busy.
fire
That's it.
Busy, man.
But no, Expand was sick, bro. And then from there, basically, like then, because I was like kind of just always networking, always talking to people. And also because I had such an interest for like engineers.
Yeah.
What it was like when I was looking at the industry as it was growing, again, there was not really like, there wasn't much content coming out back then. Pre-pandemic, there wasn't much on engineers and stuff. There was obviously got your standard stuff like Mixer and Masters or whatever.
I feel like it was very tutorial based more than it was.
It was
boring.
Very,
YouTube was boring.
Yeah. It wasn't like, it was seen, you know, engineering wasn't as seen as like big as it is like you were saying now.
Yeah.
Now it's like
the only like cool, real like entertaining place to like just go and consume music, like music audio, content, tech and stuff was Pensado's place. Really,
yeah, it was
100%.
Pensado's place.
Yeah, I agree.
It's building now. Obviously, we have I think Twitch changed a lot.
Yes.
Is it Alex Toomey, Kenny Beats?
Yeah.
Kenny Beats. These guys are going on live and they're just actually getting an audience. And you find a lot of the people in those things are more drawn to you because it's like you're the guy that's in the studio with Travis Scott. You're the guy that's in the studio with these people. So the average fan that doesn't even engineer will be following these guys as well. So
100%.
I think things like that, like just the content industry has helped sort of put a spotlight on what we do. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. No, I totally agree, man. I think that's like, that was the importance when I kind of moved into then artist relations. And it was like, all right, well, we want to like work with artists, but not just work. We want to build content, you know, start podcasts and start videos and give
Was
spotlights
that
and
a
stuff
department that already existed, or did you kind of come into it?
Yeah, it wasn't really existing before. Because obviously during the pandemic, there was a shift of how companies were kind of like moving towards now virtual, right? How do we adapt now to this virtual way of living? We're never really going to go back to doing events. So I'm not going to go and demo stuff. I mean, NAMM would come about, but it wouldn't be the same. So it was like, how do we adapt? And I was like, well, everyone's got cameras. Everyone's got Zoom. Everyone's got, you know, you could just build content, do spotlights, you know, because as me growing up, what I was always interested in, why YouTube never worked for me, is I always wanted to watch like someone mixing a Drake vocal. There wasn't much info. It was basics like copy my settings and you'll get a Drake sound. Buy this template and you'll get this.
So and it was just so bland and boring. There was no sort of like personality behind
like nothing. Like, and now people are starting to realize, oh wait, hold on, okay, so now I've got a template, but I'm not going to copy that template. I'm going to use it as my starting point and then work off that.
So I think people understand. It seems weird, but I mean, to this day, people are still learning engineering. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself, but we understand.
Never stop learning.
Exactly, I learn every day.
Is power, bro.
I think we understand just small things like signal flow and stuff a little bit better now. Because I remember years and years ago when I first started recording on whatever it was, well, I was recording before. When I first started actually understanding what plugins were, was probably around 2010, I'd say 2009, 2010. Yeah, pretty late.
What was it, Cubase?
No, this was even pre-Cubase, so Adobe Audition. But they had
their
own, so they had their own things, and it was like a dynamics processor or like a parametric equalizer. But in that language, 15 years ago, you're kind of like, this does all, okay, let's just play with it and see. Now we're like, oh, I know what an EQ does and whatever. So when a new EQ gets advertised to you on Instagram or something like that, you actually know whether you need it or not. Or where in your chain you want to put it, X, Y, and Z. So I think just by being drip fed and just learning more and more information over the years, we kind of just know we're using our tools better. I would say.
I agree. No, I totally agree.
So artist relations, that's where you are
now.
That's where you're sitting.
That's it, bro.
And that's where suddenly, if you go on Gaurav's Instagram, you're seeing crazy pics with crazy guys all the time and doing the mad stuff. That's where you're meeting all these guys.
Literally, bro. And I think it's just the love of the industry, man. Like, it's like, you know, yeah, bro. So I'm fortunate to be in that position, but it's also like I love what I do as well. Like, I love plugins. You know, dissect plugins. I love what people. I want to know why they're using our doors and why they're using other doors and stuff like that.
Everybody knows this guy. You know, it's crazy because I'm walking around now. I'm thinking, what the hell? Suddenly, all these Donnies are coming up.
Oh man!
And he's just like, everyone's chatting. It was crazy.
I mean, bro, like, shout out like engineers, especially like, you know,
they got everyone down there.
It's just such a smart way to work, and it helps like me in my career because the people that I've wanted to connect with, they're all in one bit now. Like, I don't have to go and source them out. Like, they're standing there, they're near our booth.
But they're in a unique position to do that because it's only people. It's only someone like Ali that is able to kind of like command that level of respect and like people will turn up for him. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of guys out there that can get all of those guys in one space over a weekend. You see what I'm saying? Like,
one weekend.
And getting them to sit next to each other and chop it up and that. Do you know what I mean? More time. You know, like who is it? He had Jess Jackson. On there. Like, my guy doesn't do anything like that. Do you see what I'm saying? Ever. And like, I've got to sit down and like talk to him about, you know, all of his plugin background and like, and then talking about his mixes and all that stuff. Like, it's crazy.
He's done a lot, bro. Pop Smoke, Kanye, like,
a lot of Ye stuff.
Even now, if you go on his gram, he's doing like he's building his own SSL board stuff. And like, I'm just looking at him like, again, like the evolution of engineers. It's like, now they've gone to this. I mean, like, for us, it's like, okay, now we're learning, like you said, which plugin fits in my chain. Whereas the guys who've been working in it for ages are now building their own stuff physically and like getting this module from that.
Well, that's just a whole nother level of crazy technical. I mean, for me, he's a big inspiration because obviously he's UK and he's gone out to the States and killed it with the guys that are like top of the game. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I spoke to him, was talking a little bit after his thing. That was the first thing he said to me. He said, "Bro, just get to the States. Like, just get to the States in whatever way possible." And ever since he said that to me, that's been like my pure
in
drive.
your head, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, just forefront. Like, how am I going to do this? You see what I'm saying? Because it is the way.
It's a big jump. And what you realize about LA, I mean, you know this already, bro. Like, you know, when you're there, you're talking to people. Like, no one's really from LA. Everyone's like, oh, I've come from New York. I've come from England. I've come from here.
It's a bit like London.
It is.
It's just like London. It's just like London, but I feel like the one thing that, and we touched on this on one of our last episodes, it has a different vibe around it where, like, in London, everyone's a bit like to themselves and a bit stush. But in LA, like, everyone was just so down to chat. Do you see what I'm saying? It was like, you heard my accent and you were like, oh, and then you recognise.
I was like, oh, wait.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, everyone's just chatting. Like, in London, people weren't moving like that, bro.
Yeah, it's very much more tense over here compared to there. Everyone there wants to work because they know they want to work.
Well, saying that, I mean, we have the power to change it. Everyone in this room and beyond, we actually have the power to change that. I think
of course.
The connections you guys make when you do go abroad and stuff, we also need to look at London as like its own hub.
Next one.
We just got to know that we are, like, our personalities and just the mood over here is a bit different. So that's just a warning to anyone that's trying to come to London. You're trying to come to London, that it's still a rat race like LA. Just know that you have to get in where you fit in a little bit more here. It's hard. It is a little bit harder to fit in.
It's true. I mean, like, even at that Jason Joshua event that I was at on Monday, I leave and then I have like 4 or 5 guys messaging me on Instagram saying, "Oh, I saw you there, but I didn't say hi." I'm like, "Bro, why didn't you come up and say cool? Like, what the hell? Like, we're all in this room together.
It's
like,
true,
bro,
though,
come say hi, man. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I want to talk to everyone. Do you know what I'm saying? It's mad. Like,
insane.
Like, it was crazy, and I don't understand it, but because I'm there, like, bro, if I recognize someone, I'm going to talk to you. I don't care. Like, I'll interrupt your conversation. I'll be rude as hell. Like,
it's mad you say all of that as well, because a lot of the time, it's the standoffish thing. It doesn't last here as well, because you get in the studio with these guys, or do you know what I mean? And actually just come out their show and stuff. Like, I'm sure you're used to it.
I agree. Yeah.
In the past, like, how do you prefer being in sessions? Do you prefer mixing music and stuff? Because you do some engineering yourself, of course.
Yeah, it's weird, bro. Like, when I'm engineering, I love being alone.
Really?
Weird,
Oh,
bro.
really?
Yeah, I love
Okay.
being alone.
Well, like
'Cause sometimes, when I'm mixing,
Bit like my friend here as well. Yeah.
yeah, like I think I get I'm a bit like, what's the word, man? Like I don't like being micromanaged sometimes when I'm doing something.
Okay,
like
yeah.
it's I'm mixing. It's like which is kind of bad because sometimes I need to accept the artist has the creative direction that I don't. But sometimes it's very hard, and I kind of want to reverse this question on you guys actually a little bit. But like, how do you deal with an artist who is putting their creative touch in it, which might not be the right thing? You know, like I've had this situation before where someone was like, "Bro, just drown the vocal in reverb," and I was like, "Where are you going with this track?
Do you know?
Were you trying to bang this track out?"
We had a similar conversation with Sean on one of the previous episodes, and he had a really cool solution to it. And I rate it, but it's a lot more. It's a lot of work.
Oh.
But he's like, but it's like this is why Sean's mixing the kind of records that he's mixing.
Yeah.
But like he says, if it's a new client and they have like a creative direction, he'll do 3 mixes. And send it to him first before he sends anything else.
All 3 of them?
Yeah.
Yes, together.
He
and he sends
one more like their one.
Yeah, one basically that's just the reference but polished.
Okay.
And then he'll do one where it's like, okay, this is what I think it should sound like coming out. And then he does one where he's like goes crazy with like effects and stuff like that, and like really like tries to like bend the ear with it. And just see how they come back with it, and then he knows straight away what kind of client he's dealing with, and what he can get away with for future projects, and he's guaranteed that job.
So what's your way of dealing with it?
My way, I'm a little bit crazy with it, man. But like, I don't know. For me, I'm just like, I have to have a reference. If you don't send me a reference, I won't mix the song.
Yeah.
And I will tend to like. If it's like a big project and there's a lot going on, I'll make the time and I'll sit down, have a call with them, talk about their vision, how they like, and just try to get an understanding of like what kind of like music they enjoy. Do you know what I mean? Just to get an understanding of them, and then I'll mix the record, but I'll listen to the reference once, and then go off and then go away from it. Occasionally, if I'm like feel like I've gone a bit crazy, I will like go back one last time and just make sure that I didn't do any like think mad different. And then I send it to him, and then I don't know, in terms of like recalls and stuff like that, obviously because I'm running a business, I have to have like a limit.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Yeah,
which is annoying because obviously guys then think, oh, I'm not like interested in like making the song right for them, but I am. But at the same time, I'm running a business.
You're
you know
doing
what I'm saying?
6 projects at once, trying to recall. You're on recall number 3 on 4 of them. It's like
so the way I work, I do 3 recalls, which is a tongue twister to say.
3 recalls.
Yeah, and then I do a fee like after that.
Okay.
And I think that's like pretty much standard. If I'm being honest.
See, I think the way to kind of work around, I wouldn't even call it a difficult client. I'd say a client that has like, they're particular. I wouldn't say difficult. Depending on, you got to spot where they're at in their career, and if they've had success previously. If you've had success off a previous sound previously and you're not trying to stray away from that, a lot of the time I kind of just do as they ask. Only because it's sort of like, I'm probably going to rinse this analogy so much on there, but it's like you go to a barber, they know your head shape doesn't suit a fade, but if you ask for a fade, they're going to give you a fade. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So you just got to find a way to finesse that fade.
Right.
Even my latest recall, I was told there was a little bit too much reverb on the vocal. What I find is obviously when you mix and master, depending on what you're boosting in the master, it's there. So you're going to lift things. You lift the vocal because it just takes up about 80% of the mid-range. And then the reverb sits directly behind that. And a way of controlling that was explaining to them, look, the vocal needs reverb because we need to create space in the record. We can make it as dry as possible. It was just making sure that, okay, it's probably going to set up...
I wouldn't even go into trying to explain stuff like that.
I don't explain this, but to me, the way I see it is you got like a certain amount of space you can play with, right? You do the reverb or whatever it is, however they like it, and then you got room to blend. So I took away more than sort of intended. Turned out that's what they wanted. So literally you kind of just follow it and you find that with your own ear, you just blend with what you know and how you think.
The thing is though, Pro, if you try to fight back against that sometimes, you might lose a couple of clients, right? But you'll develop your own sound, and then if you work from people from early enough where they haven't developed their ear, like you want to grab artists from day dot.
This is it.
Then that's when you then become that next level of engineer, because it's like people come to you because of your sound, not because you know how to mix a record,
yeah,
but because they want a Proton mix.
This is it. That's why I mentioned it's about how much they've achieved previously with their sound.
Yeah,
because you know, if their mixes were bad before. There's no need to tell them that, but there's also
but then they're always going to want bad mixes because they're used to it.
No, I mean, there's no need to tell them that their mixes are bad. You just show them what you can do better.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. So, I like that technique that you said about the 3 mixes thing. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's Sean though. That's like.
But that will take a lot more work, I guess, where you'd have to kind of put in a bit more work and then.
Yeah.
I would say so as well.
Yeah, but I think obviously if it's a new client and you're like, okay, I think this is going to be really good.
Yeah.
And he's, you know, XYZ's bubbling around him. Fucking put the effort in.
Then you got to put the effort in,
and do it. Do you know what I mean? But coming off that topic a little bit, I wanted to talk to you about now. You won Marketer of the Year 2022.
Yes, sir.
Congrats. Very sick.
Thank you.
I want to know exactly. You sort of touched on it already, but I want to know like kind of how that came about and like what was the process and how you felt as well. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? It was a good, definitely amazing feeling, bro. It was like this year, January, I think, for last year, 2022. Yeah, it was a sick feeling, man. It was like, wow. But it was like, it was...
Where was the awards?
So it was actually virtual, bro.
Oh,
we used to do it previously before the pandemic, like somewhere in the States. Like, it depends wherever we choose. But this year we did it virtually. But yeah, man, it was all down, you know, in my team, you know, I've got a sick manager and, you know, myself, and we run the whole artist relations team on ourselves, really. And it's difficult because there's a lot as a Globally, yeah. So as the world's changing, a lot is, you know, I deal with people who are working in the bedroom, to the guy who's mixing the next biggest record, to all the way down to someone who's like, oh, I've just come from this door, I want to learn this door. So it's such a variance of people.
Me.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, it's such a and we've got to like adapt to everyone. So I think it was like when I was building content, I wasn't just going to the pros and going, hey, can we build content? Because some of the pros, obviously, that you go to, a lot, like, you know, a lot of this stuff is already out there. But what it is, some of these new people who are learning about Pro Tools are using Pro Tools in a different way. That I'm like, wow, I want to get that on camera. I want to try something new. So I think it was all around the various content that we was doing, and obviously bringing in diversity was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, of course.
This year, like last year, sorry, for a lot of the content, I was like, I want to bring in diversity. I don't want to kind of just show an SSL board with Pro Tools. I want to show the guy working in his bedroom all the way down to someone opening a laptop with an iLock and just working on the laptop.
Yeah.
So it was all about that, bro, and getting different voices involved from around. Obviously, like I said, like globally, it was mad important. So I just wanted to like get people from around the world in the room, man.
Wicked. And, well, you definitely achieved it. Do you know what I mean?
Thanks, bro. It's still going, man. I hope.
Yeah, 100%. Well, but the award was
that
justified,
was a good feeling, man.
100%.
But it was like, it made me just think, all right, I need to step it up a little bit more. But you know, and
bro, there's no reason why you can't like totally change the landscape.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a good point to be at, if that makes sense. Like,
well, we're at the turning point, as we were talking about earlier on, like where engineers are like, you know, becoming more popular and like building their own brands and stuff like that. And you can capitalize that with like the backing of like the biggest or like audio company. Do you see what I'm saying? So
it's crazy, bro. And it's, you know what, it's just like one thing that I've learned along the way, bro, is just networking. Connect.
100%.
And the good thing about us is that it could be like someone who's like 75 years old, but you put them in a room and we're still talking the same language.
Of course.
And that's the beauty of music. It's a unique
passion.
Like,
do you know what I mean?
It's so sick. Like, it's so sick.
I learned that with the networking thing. Like, I think I got affected quite badly when lockdown happened. I moved to a whole different county, and then like 3 days later lockdown happened, and I was like, oh, I don't even know anyone here or the town or anything. So I became even more of a recluse than I was before. And Pro will tell you, like, I wasn't like the most social person to start with.
He acts like he is online, but it's annoying when he's your actual friend. I'll be real.
Yeah. But and then it took me a minute. It was really like when I signed up to engineers and then and I was like able to go
engineers.
And they gave me the opportunity to go to NAM. And I linked up with you and a bunch of other guys, and I was like, oh man, I forgot just how important this is and how much I love it as well. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing of it, bro.
Just being in the room and everyone just being cool and chatting and stuff, and you know, it's like, it's such an important thing. So to all of you young guys out there trying to get into the game, get out to all of these events. You know, the Mix with the Masters summit that I was at. Like, buy those tickets. It's an invaluable amount.
Follow all of the platforms, all the studios either in your area, studios in London or whatever the case is. Just get on
and
their
go
social
to their
media
events.
and go to their events.
Because it's one thing following them and being online and doing the YouTube things and learning XYZ, watching this podcast, for instance, but getting the opportunity to come and meet guys like us and everyone else in person. Do you know what I mean? It just levels everything up, and like we'll pay attention to what you have to say.
100%, man.
I agree. Do you have something to say?
No, that's it, bro.
That's perfect, because I wanted to get into a quick fire. I can see you're quite passionate about a few things. So
I love it, bro.
We'll start easy. Yeah. I'm going to go with...
We're going to come up with like a soundbite before we do this.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll be a lot cooler in
like
future.
like,
just
or like corny as hell.
Literally. Well, corny to you. To me. Yeah. We'll see. Electric guitar or acoustic guitar?
Ooh, acoustic guitar.
That was easy for you.
Crazy.
Analog or digital mixing console?
Digital mixing console.
Oh. LA2A or 1176?
LA2A.
LA2A, nice. You're on my team. I had a few more. I've got a few more actually. ATC or PMC?
PMC.
Yeah. So I'm liking this fire right now.
Thanks for picking everything you like, innit?
Shure or AKG?
AKG.
Yeah.
Jeez.
For headphones or for microphones?
Say again, bro?
Headphones or for microphones? Or just overall?
Headphones, all microphones.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to are you AKG for both?
For microphones.
For microphones, definitely.
Yeah.
I like Shure headphones.
Wait, are these Shure headphones as well?
No, these are AI.
They're the ones that like
the modular ones.
They're
These
nice.
are sort of,
These are sick.
They are pretty
I like
nice.
them,
Yeah, and you can like change
Spec
all the
your-
different.
I had a-
specs around them,
like
so.
was it Neurotone or something like that?
Yeah,
It's a
so
weird
they'll
brand.
send you like everything.
Oh, I know the brand you're talking about. No,
No,
those
they're
are
the
more
ones that actually,
consumer
like, go
based.
in your ear.
right.
These
Okay,
are
yeah.
literally like, so certain cups are better for DJs, certain cups are better
Is
for
it?
referencing, certain cups
Wow,
are better
bro.
for tracking,
That's
different
sick.
headband sizes.
They're not even that expensive.
They're all right.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's
Comfortable,
free promo. That's not happening.
Yeah.
I've got one more for you.
Yeah,
It
bro.
was Manly or Neve.
Neve.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Nice.
That's
You know what? The reason why I say that is like I actually got to try a Neve preamp in person. Like, you know, before, like when I was at uni and stuff, I never got to try this stuff. I just heard about it.
Yeah. Or it's
LA,
in
I
like
got to
the
try.
one big uni studio that you go in like once a
that's it.
term.
Yeah, once a term,
Yeah,
bro. Like, you
yeah,
got to
yeah.
be very careful.
Man, Kashaw
Yeah.
never had no knees, bruv.
Well, I went uni, so
Oh,
yeah. You're more educated than
In
me.
uni-
So.
I
No,
mean, yeah,
we-
but you
we
know
wouldn't
them
go
ones,
that
innit, where
far.
you have like, we can go in once,
Literally.
but you can't touch anything. Be very careful.
all this saying, I'm glad you're here because the whole not fear, but like the anxiety I used to get was going in there and having to use the Pro Tools rigs.
Oh, yeah.
bro.
Could you explain how far we've come since then? Like,
Bro, like-
because I'm talking about 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Everything was still sort of locked by device, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe 2020. Sorry, Pro Tools 12 was when I think was fully out. Of
And
that
that
kind
was
of ecosystem.
2019, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So
think.
I think
Correct
we're
me if I'm
doing
wrong.
okay. We're doing okay for loose timing. But yeah, I remember having to go in there. You got to have your Pro Tools aggregate device synced up to your desk, and a lot of the desks then were like the early digital desks that could sort of do both and stuff like that. What product now would you say is like the flagship
Of
just
like
Pro
Avid?
Tools? Yeah,
Or like Pro
Avid and
Tools?
Pro Tools. Yeah.
Obviously, Pro Tools being the software,
Yeah.
it's always going to be the flagship, right? It's always going to be our thing.
It's got to be your interface, no? For the Dolby.
HDX, probably the HDX
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
HDX is booming, man. Like
Everyone needs it.
Everyone needs it.
Yeah.
Dolby
Everyone's
Atmos
gotta
is
build
another
the room.
conversation, but it's like it's just so popular right now.
Yeah.
And the shift in the industry of going into Atmos, and you know now the translation going from 741 setup all the way down to now you're in your bedroom and you've got a sound bar
It's
or
mad,
like
yeah.
like Sonos
Headphones.
headphones.
Yeah,
Like, you know, it's
mad.
and even like me as like a consumer, let's say, I've started to go, all right, let me just hear the Atmos version of this now. And I'm like, wow, I actually prefer this. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
that Harry Styles album.
bro, it's sick.
Sick.
So
Hard.
good, man.
Hard.
And like, if you heard them in the AirPod Max,
AirPod
big ones,
Nah.
like
I've not, nah.
you could tell like the massive difference of like,
Really?
it just sounds so full on. And
Where was
Is
I
this playing
listening
through
to?
Apple Music?
that was through Tidal.
Through Tidal?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what?
Well,
do you know
Apple
what
Music
streaming
have like a
services are
room
able-
that they've like a digital room
Virtual-
that they've
virtual room?
virtual room
Yeah.
that they've designed.
Yeah.
and it works with your binaural
So it's actually not
headphones.
quite the same as like what your mix will sound like.
Spatial
Yeah.
audio and Dolby Atmos are two separate things.
Yeah, but
essentially.
they basically will just like convert your mix into like a spatial audio version.
Okay.
So like you might be listening back to your project and be like, oh, my vocals were definitely not in that position, but like it's just there.
Is this off a 2-track?
No. This is what they're taking the Dolby mixes. And,
Okay.
And converting them.
Okay, got you.
So
still a lot to learn as we.
Bro, I think that's what when I was in LA when we was in LA that time, bro. I was in a few studio visits and I was talking to people and finding out, like how do you feel about this? And everyone was just like, you know what, it's something new. Like coming into the industry,
I mean, stereo was
something to learn again, right?
And for the engineers, it's another bag.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? It's true, though. That's why bare people get on it.
And if you look at the full circle, and what's the beauty of it is, again, like people at home who've got a living room or whatever, they know what Dolby Atmos is.
Yeah. They've known it in cinemas and stuff for time, so it's like it's an easy bridge to cross.
100%, bro.
I've got a family member of mine. He's like proper tech nerd.
Yeah.
He lives out in the sticks now, so he's done like a lot of modifications and renovations to his home. And I actually brought up to him, I was like, Dolby Atmos, are you involved? He was like, yeah, we're gonna spec one of his lounges, and they're gonna install the system he was looking at. Was ridiculous. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, I think 15K upwards for the system. Yeah, we spoke. And I said, as soon as that is built, I'm on the motorway to reference everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Well, there's rooms popping up everywhere. So
I mean,
there's a room here in the Cube.
It's great. But that family discount, it just hits.
Nothing
different. Yeah.
So might get a free hotel service. You never know.
So moving a bit away from your 9 to 5.
Yes, sir.
You also are a budding engineer yourself and have done some kind of crazy sessions. As I've seen on your gram. I was just quite interested, like just off the top of your head, what's like the most memorable session you've had or interesting session? I actually think I might know what you're going to say, but I'll be interested just to hear it from...
It's probably most... There's one that I probably can't say yet because it's not out. But I'll keep that one.
Jeez.
But probably the other one that is,
I have to get him back on now.
Just in case. Just in case. But I think probably the big nasty one, man, is probably my...
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, you knew that, innit? Because it was like...
Is the whole session on camera?
Not the whole session, no. So that was like, I think 5 minutes where we recorded probably about 3 hours in that room.
Oh,
man.
Man.
It was like...
Really?
I randomly got
BET,
picked.
innit?
BET, yeah. And it was sick, man. It was like...
How did that come about?
So I knew Nasty's manager. I don't even know how I knew him, bro. I've known Nasty for a while, but just through his management. And then, like, he just wanted me to help him build a studio in Tenerife.
Who's his manager?
His name Matt something?
Yeah. Didn't he also manage... Is it the same guy that manages Big Zoo?
I have no idea, bro.
Oh.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That wouldn't surprise me.
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, same.
I think his name was Matt as well.
He definitely knows what he's doing, though. Like, even when he went, the way he was like articulating stuff and he knew his technology, and I was like, when a manager knows technology, bro, I'm like, all right, he knows the shit.
Well, it's either going to be a problem or it's going to make it smooth.
Exactly, exactly.
They're going to be on you.
Yeah. Why is this not working? And then that session, obviously, I worked with like a few like indie rappers, I'd say, or like just underground, when I had the time, bro, let's say. But then, yeah, man, I just started working with him, but it was such a different experience. And then Harry Pinero was there as well.
Oh, sick.
So I recorded him. We recorded like 2 tracks together.
Oh, good.
And he would, bro, it was like, I thought Nasty's sick, what he does. And then Nasty did his thing, and I was like, all right, I kind of expected how Nasty was going to be and what he was going to do, and how much compression I might need to use.
Kitchen knife to the armpit. Kicked him so hard he farted. I love that.
Cold,
that's it. And I just, oh man, he's sick. And then he was like, oh, Harry's gonna rap now, and I was like, wait, what? I didn't know he raps, bro. And
that doesn't shock me either. Yeah, that doesn't shock me either. That doesn't shock me.
I was like, yo, and I went up to him after, and I was like, bro, you should do an album, bro. Like, you need to do an album, bro.
It's a South London.
And let me engineer it.
Yeah. I was like, yo, like, here's my number, bro. Like, but that was a crazy session, man. We was there for 3 hours, but I think there was a lot of like talking and.
Where was the room?
Cube West. Yeah. So
nice.
I think the main room in there, Studio A, I think it is. Have you been there yet?
I haven't been to the West one. No,
sick, bro.
I can't lie.
You've been there,
Yeah.
Essex bound. That's a bit far.
Yeah, this is a trek today, but done it, man.
I appreciate it.
Lizzie line all the way
we
here.
We appreciate it.
I was like, no, but it's Cube, like that's before this place opened up, and like we were the first early adopters of that kind of that studio of helping them out with licenses and S1s and stuff like that. So
of course.
It was a good session, man. But it was it was different, bro. And BT was there recording it, so obviously you had cameras in your face and.
Yeah,
trying to be as natural as you can, and you're trying to be like
you don't want to be the guy getting shouted
at. Every day, it's a thing.
Yeah, it's the camera thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm used to it. I'm like, What's going on?
Hello. yeah.
Camera on me.
See, it's hard for me to like I was saying, like if someone's micromanaging while you're mixing or something, it's really difficult because like they were telling me like, hey man, can you just like press record again just for the camera? And I'm like,
oh yeah, I know all about that. With the faders, just
can his mind just go like
to pretend it's like,
chill.
bro, I'm touching a digital desk.
Can you do it really like?
And you know that like all of your dons that are gonna watch this video are like,
bro,
you're a dickhead.
Why are you pressing R, bro?
Yeah, that Avalon wasn't even on, bro.
This is our problem. We talk about the engineering industry not getting enough light shone on it. When there's literal cameramen shining lights on it, we're like, go away.
You're
making us do all the wrong things.
Bro.
Yeah, but but that's why it's important that we take control of it and we do it in the right way.
That's exactly what
so it doesn't just look like some phony thing. Like whenever you, I always type in a script share because I use
ChatGPT.
Yeah, to not to script these videos, but when I'm like to help me script like audio videos. Yeah, it's always pan to a mixing desk of an engineer turning the dials on a console. It's like, shut up, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? It's every single
bro, it's
time.
funny when you see it on TV. It's like you see like a whatever drama you might be watching, and all of a sudden they're in the studio, but it's like they're holding a SM58 or whatever the case is, and then it's just clear.
No, it's the one. It's the one that's the funny one is when it's always DJs and their decks aren't plugged in. And there's no cables coming out.
I've seen that so many times.
That's the worst,
bro. I see that. I've seen that once. Like I think it was like YouTube video, man, and like the set's going on, and just before it drops, he pulls out like the cord, and the music's still playing. And I was like, oh my god, it was going viral, bro. And it's just like the chords up there, and he was like,
I feel like I saw this.
You probably
video.
have. Yeah, it was definitely a viral one, bro. Insane.
So just before we wrap up,
bro,
we're approaching time. We got. But I wanted to ask, what would your advice be to the young guys in the game, the students that are just coming into it? What would your advice be to help them like break into the industry and
for mixing or kind of overall? Would you say
just anything? Because I think you're in a unique position where you're not just an engineer. Do you see what I'm saying? Like you know, you're proof that. You know, there's more than one job role in this industry.
No,
you see what I'm saying?
So true. I think, bro, back to what I was saying was like networking is so important. Just be passionate about what you do. Yeah. Because again, like one thing that allows me to be in rooms of like, you know, like I was with Mike Dean in LA, but the only reason why that was like it's insane. I didn't want to wait until
39 minutes.
I really didn't want to. I didn't want to.
Mr. Mike D.
That's it, Mike D. I don't even realize how mad this is for pro, you know.
Oh, really? Oh,
cool.
Okay, yeah.
His whole college life, he would say, Kanye is my father.
Oh, my God. But it's true. No, but it's true, bro. Like in myself, like I've looked up to that moment and like. And I'm touchable, bro, like blessed to be in that situation. But the only reason why I was there was because one, I don't shut up, and I love the products. And the thing is, like, I also would never like be so biased and be like, no, this. I'm always like reading the room of what this person needs. And like, all right, so maybe our tools might not work. Or try this or try that. Like, and I think networking is the key thing, bro. To it, it's like
learning how to network as well. Like what you're talking about. Like figuring out how to. Not just impress someone, but like offer, like figure out what you can do for that person. Do you see what I'm saying? In the most natural and organic way.
Definitely.
When I think when you go in a room and you start like they're saying one thing and you complete to the other because you're either trying to sell something and then straight away they're like, hold on, man, like what we doing, bro? Like, but when you're like normal to them and you're like, oh, so that's how this works, bro, that's interesting. I saw you do this, like. And generally chatting to them.
I agree. That's great advice because something we do, even as experienced or as professionals, it's something you do on a daily and you find new ways to approach. So
and it's like just keep the love for it, man. I think that's the main thing is just love what you do, bro.
Keep the love. No, facts. We love what we do here, so that's just how it is.
That's it for real. Well,
yeah, man.
Well, you heard it here first. Go and network, go and get out there.
Pretty much.
On that note, we're going to have to wrap it up and say thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, boys. Thank you.
GAURAV's socials will be in all the links below. So go and check out all of his stuff. Follow him. Get in his DMs, ask him all the questions.
Go for it.
And make sure you, on that one, make sure you like and subscribe this podcast. Follow it up.
Mixed Opinions Podcast.
Mixed Opinions Podcast.
Like, subscribe.
Exactly. And we'll be back here next week. Catch you then. Nice.
Thank you. Cheers, boys.
Bro, safe for that.